going to make at least $1 million this year. And you're going to be able to use this as a template so that you can achieve any goal that you want. So of course, if you want to make more money yourself, this video is going to help you massively with that, but also in terms of wanting to lose weight, to get better relationships, if you want to learn an instrument, whatever it is that you want to achieve, this video will give you an idea of the kinds of mentalities and the specific tactics that you can use to achieve that goal in your life. So to start off, you probably want to know, why am I worth listening to? Why would you care what some random guy on the internet has to say about making $1 million? Like, I could be some fucking manifestation dork that's gonna tell you to visualize Lamborghinis, and then 5 years later, you see me homeless on the streets. Well, 4 years ago, I was completely broke. If you go farther back, actually, I was raised, my father was in complete poverty. Abject poverty. We lived, when I was in high school, we lived in a trailer for 4 years. And not even the main trailer, it was the side trailer of a larger trailer. And I would sleep on the couch. We didn't have color TV or cable. And this is in the 2000s. This isn't, I'm not like 60. So we would sometimes lose electricity. We would sometimes have to go without meals. Extremely, extremely poor when I grew up. And beyond that, I continued to be poor throughout my 20s. And 4 years ago, I was completely broke. All I had was over $20,000 in student debt. And over the student debt, I guess I've been watching too much of the Amber Heard trial. But so what happened is, 4 years ago, I made a total of about $5,000. So I wasn't even living paycheck to paycheck. I was beneath living paycheck to paycheck. That's where I come from. And last year I made over $150,000. And I can show receipts and proof of that in the description if you guys want. But I went from completely broke to the top, 2.5% of the country in terms of earning in just 4 years. And the crazy part is that it only took me 10 to 20 hours of work per week to accomplish that. It didn't require me to work some Elon Musk type of schedule where I'm working 120 hours a week and I'm going insane, losing touch with reality because of that. It only took me about 10 to 20 hours to achieve this. And the main thing that I had that other people didn't was, one, belief that I could succeed, belief that I was capable of achieving my goals, and then two, consistency. I was consistent. I built a YouTube channel that has about 18,000 subscribers now, and I did that by posting consistently over a long period of time, even though at first I almost got no views, no money, no nothing. And so that consistency really helped. And the other part is that I always am judging myself. I am always criticizing myself and thinking, how can I get better? And that's how I'm going to make $1 million this year, is by evaluating what are the biggest mistakes, what are the biggest bottlenecks that got me to where I am now, when really, I think about it, if I had pushed myself as hard as possible, I would be a multimillionaire by now. That's my mindset, and I 100% believe that's true, and I also believe that's true for everyone else who's watching. And I'm pissed off about that fact. I am aware that if I had pushed myself as hard as I could have, I would never have to work another day in my life if I didn't want to. I would have achieved in the last few years more than most people do in their entire lives. But I half-assed it. I half-assed it. I didn't put myself fully out there in terms of taking crazy amounts of action. I only worked 10 to 20 hours per week, but if I worked 60 hours per week, and instead of posting like one video every 2 days on my YouTube channel, I posted 3 videos per day, I would easily have 300,000 subscribers by now. And then my income would easily be 20x what it is now. And I'm aware of that, and I'm willing to acknowledge that and accept that. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to say, oh, I didn't have enough energy to do that. I didn't have enough ideas. I needed to take it slow. No, I could be a multimillionaire right now, and the fact that I'm not is a result of my own mistakes, my own poor decisions. And that's my mindset. And then going forward, I'm thinking, how do I correct that? Because most people, when they want to be an artist, when they want to make more money, when they have any goal, what they focus on is not what they could be doing better. It's not the mistakes they're making. They just focus on, oh, well, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. They don't think, I could have already gotten that. They're not pissed off at themselves. And we have this cultural, societal aversion to being pissed off, to being frustrated, to any negative emotion. We try to avoid that. We try to comfort ourselves with temporary pleasures instead of owning that we should be pissed off, that we should be frustrated, that apathy is not an acceptable state of mind. And if you haven't achieved what you want to achieve in life, you should be frustrated. And not at the world, not at your external circumstances, but at yourself. Because if you're honest with yourself, you know that you have not done 100% what you could have done if you wanted to, if you were determined. So that's the mindset that I'm coming from. First, I'm very capable. There's nothing someone else could do that I can't do. I'm not going to use IQ or someone being born rich or any of those things as an excuse, because I can see examples of people coming from nothing and becoming extremely successful. Many actors were actually born poor. If you look into their histories, many famous actors who are now multimillionaires like Jim Carrey, they have a poor upbringing. People like Conor McGregor, who's now, at least in the hundreds of millions net worth, although he may have blown it all on hookers and blow. But, he has made hundreds of millions of dollars. There's nothing, like you look at his history, there's no reason to believe he was going to be ultra successful. And I don't think you necessarily need to be in the 100 million or billionaire range, but anyone could be a millionaire. And the idea that it's some impossible mountain to climb, that's the first thing that holds us back. So to me, it's kind of pathetic that I'm not already a millionaire. When I look at some of the people who I know who are very successful, they're not that smart. They're not. They don't have some kind of special quality. They're not extremely charismatic. Some of them are awkward. Even some famous YouTubers are not very charismatic, like Corey Wayne. But what they all are is consistent, and they're very determined to achieve their goals. They're willing to put in a lot of hard work. That is universal. So that's the number one thing that I know I need to change. Instead of putting in 10 to 20 hours of work, I need to make the temporary sacrifice of comfort and work 60 hours per week. That's my goal for a while, to work at least 60 hours per week, to put out a video on each of my YouTube channels instead of once every 3 days, 4 days, that's what I've been doing lately, to post a video on this channel and on my main channel every day. To send an email to my list every day, and I have a spreadsheet that keeps track of all my daily goals like these. And that's very important, to have some kind of way to measure your progress, to keep track of your goals and what you want to do every day. That's something a lot of people neglect, but just having a goal in your head, it really isn't good enough. That is not enough, because your subconscious, your emotions are not usually going to be on your side. You need to use the logical, long-term thinking part of your brain to create systems that will cause you to have the success you want. So having a few small daily goals, nothing too crazy. You don't want it to be 8 hours per day of daily goals, because that's going to be overwhelming unless you have an extreme amount of willpower and discipline to start with. But it takes a while to get to that point realistically. And so for me, it's just post a video to each channel, send an email every day, and a few other things like that. To meditate, because that's very beneficial in terms of just mental and emotional health. To read every day, things like that. But it's nothing too crazy. But if I do my daily tasks, I will still be making decent progress, even if I do nothing else. It ensures that I won't be going downhill. I'll at least be making steady progress. But then what I have in place is weekly goals that are a lot more ambitious. So this is, for example, I'm working on a book that's about 200 pages, and I'm on the final draft, and my goal is within 3 days, this was last week's goal, is to finish that book. And that's something that has taken many hours. It's a very difficult goal. But having weekly goals I find to be the most effective. I would experiment with monthly, 3 months, different things. But monthly goals are far off enough that you can kind of procrastinate and forget about them. But when you have a goal that's 1 week, you do have flexibility, right? If you wanted to, you could do nothing today, but you still feel it, right? You feel it coming closer. You kind of feel the walls closing in, and that creates this pressure that for me has allowed me to work harder than anything else in terms of setting goals, is having goals that are within 1 to 2 weeks, right? To finish a book in 2 weeks. For YouTube, I have a goal within 2 weeks to have 30 videos queued on my channel that are already done. They're already recorded and edited and everything. Queued so that even if I have a streak of procrastination or laziness or whatever, my channel will still be growing passively because I got ahead of the curve. Right, being ahead of the curve is always a very good thing for any goal in terms of content if you want to build an online business. So that's the system I have in place. I have these goals that are 1 to 2 weeks that are ambitious, that will be challenging. They're not impossible, but they will require a lot of work. And there's something mentally about the pressure, about having the right level of pressure. If you have extreme daily goals, that pressure can be overwhelming. Right, that's what happens is it tends to cause me to burn out. If I have very long-term goals, you kind of forget them. It's easy to neglect and ignore them. But goals that are 1 week in length, 2 weeks in length, that is the sweet spot for me. And you want to find out what the sweet spot is for you, but I found that to be very crucial. So what is going to happen with these goals is I already have things that I sell. I have products, I have courses. So yes, I'll be working on new products, right? I'll be working on new courses, of course. But I know that if I 10x my traffic, the traffic to my YouTube channel and the email subscribers I have, if I 10x that, I will make over $1 million this year. That's all I have to do. So I can keep that simple. I can keep that target very clear and something that I can focus all of my energy towards. I don't need to have like 20 different targets in mind because I know if I do that one thing, everything else falls into place. And what's the most important task or thing that I need to be working on to accomplish that? Posting more content. Because when it comes to any skill, and this includes making YouTube videos, but it also would include like an art. The way you get good at it is by doing it a lot and doing it in a way where it gets scrutinized by other people. So if you want to be a writer, ideally, you're not just writing for yourself, you're writing and then you're sharing it somewhere online where people will give feedback and criticism. So on these videos, I'm going to see how the engagement is on every video, how the watch, or like the things like the watch time, how many likes, what kind of comments I get. Does it get caught up in the algorithm? And I'm going to think about each video, what could have been better. I rewatch my videos and I think about my delivery. I am honest with myself. My delivery is not the best in the world. It could be a lot better. I would say it's like a 6.5 out of 10. I don't think my delivery is terrible and my camera presence is awful, but it's far from what it could be. And the way I improve it is by taking far more action, recording far more videos so that the momentum increases. Right? Over time, you get more and more comfortable in front of the camera if you do it a lot. For me, I do not like talking to a camera. Naturally, that is something I dislike. It makes me uncomfortable. You get no social feedback. There's something very awkward. It's like talking to yourself. Like you're talking and you're getting nothing in return. So it's kind of an awkward thing to do. Anyone who's tried to make YouTube videos probably is familiar with that. But the more you do it, the more it feels normal. And if instead of making a video every 2 to 4 days, I made 2 videos every day, within a couple weeks, you're gonna see, by the way, if you're watching this, within a couple weeks, my camera presence, my delivery will be far more confident, far more emotionally engaging, and any discomfort I have with the camera will vanish. It will disappear. And that will make the videos more engaging. That'll mean each video I make has a better chance at getting caught in the algorithm, getting more views. And then the fact that I'm putting out more content means I'm getting more at-bats, basically, for each video to get shared and to do very well. And then beyond that, the algorithm, and this is true for any online algorithm, the YouTube algorithm rewards posting more. Because what does YouTube want? They want people who bring you back to their platform. You subscribe to them, and then when you're subscribed, they keep taking you back to YouTube. So if you're only posting once every 2 weeks, you're not bringing people back to YouTube. That's not good for their platform, but if you're posting 3 videos a day, you're bringing your subscribers back to their platform again and again and again. And that's what they want. And this applies, whatever way you're trying to make money, this is going to apply. The more that you put yourself out there, the more that they have this sense that you're omnipresent. That's a term, I believe, that comes from Grant Cardone, who's the author of the 10X Rule. And that's a lot of where my thinking about getting to $1 million, at least this year, comes from. That book has some fluff in it, but the overall concept is pretty genius, honestly. And he's a guy he doesn't strike me as like very high IQ naturally. He doesn't strike me as the most charming and easy to get along with. But he's just got this ruthless mindset towards hard work and productivity and output that has made him a multi-millionaire, and that's a fact. He's extremely rich. And even if you dislike him, he's off-putting to a lot of people, but even if you dislike him, you have to think, how did he become so successful, and what can I learn from that? And that's my mentality towards that. So in terms of reaching $1 million this year, the main thing is you have to have some kind of plan or goal, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, that could potentially work. So if you're just making content, or like you want to make an online business, the first thing I did, I wanted to become a writer, and I read tons of books about how to be a good writer. And I did tons of research about being a good writer and read tons of books, but I didn't publish anything. I didn't send things to people that could reject or accept my proposal. I didn't put things out there that could have led to success. So until I started doing that, my plan was basically pointless. There was no way it was going to work. So do make sure that whatever your goal is, that it's not just research. It's not just learning more information, that you are doing something where you are, you're in the mud, if you will, right? You're actually going through a process where you can get rejected, you can fail, you cannot, you put something out there and people might not buy it. You can go and work out and you might not, when you're working out, make the gains that you want to make, but you're actually doing something that has a pass or fail metric, right? It's something that you could either succeed or fail, and you can define and look back and think, did I succeed or did I fail? That's a mistake a lot of people make, so I felt that needed to be addressed. But for me, the way I'm going to make $1 million, I have daily goals that I'm going to do every single day. I'm going to post a video on this channel every single day. I'm going to post a video on my main channel every single day. And I'm going to work on improving the quality, but also by posting consistently, even if I don't edit the video very much, even if it's just me talking to the camera in one take like this, my delivery will get better. I'll get a better sense of what people resonate with. I'll get a lot of lessons that I will be able to use to make the content better. The more I'm putting things out there, the quicker I will learn. That's the fastest way to learn. It's not just reading about how to be good at something or watching videos about how to get good at something. There's a quote by Baron de Montague, which goes, "A really intelligent man feels what other men only know." So what most of us do is focus on knowing, the knowledge, the reading, the videos, the taking things in. But to really understand something, you have to feel it. You have to be able to feel it on a physical level. You have to understand it on a completely subconscious level that's deeper than knowledge. And the way you do that is through output. It's through making videos, it's through writing, it's through doing paintings and getting feedback. Whatever it is, it's through doing and getting feedback and critiquing what you did and learning from your mistakes, and always admitting that you could be better, always focusing on what you want to improve. Not in a self-defeating, I guess I suck way, right? When a video doesn't get as many views as I want it to, I don't think, man, I guess I just suck, I guess I'm not good enough, people don't like me. No, I don't think that. I think, what could I have done differently? How could I have made it more engaging? How could I have hooked people in faster? And over time, you're going to see over the course of weeks, my videos will get far more engaging. They will offer more and more value, and then more people will watch and tune in because it's more captivating. That's what's going to happen. And however it is that you want to make $1 million, whether you want to be a copywriter or you want to do e-commerce, FBA, in most cases, I would say brick and mortar is not the way to make your first million. It's some kind of online business. Whatever that is, take this template, this mentality that I've talked about, and implement that, right? Create daily goals, create weekly goals. And write a daily journal where you think about what you could have done better. I have a daily journal where I review my day and I rate myself to like how productive was I? Was I as productive as I should have been? And this doesn't mean I had to be like working 24 hours, right? Or giving up sleep, but like compared to what I think I should have done, right? The ideal of if I were to achieve my goals, did I do enough? And so I do that with all the different areas of my life, including just like, did I socialize enough? Things like that. I'm constantly analyzing and looking for ways to improve and creating systems that make it so my emotions are not in control. Because I know my emotions are not always going to be on my side, and I need to create systems that take my emotions out of the equation as much as possible. You can't take them completely out of the equation, but you can make it so you make more logical, long-term decisions by having systems like a spreadsheet with your daily and weekly goals, and then follow through on that. And if you're like not able to keep up, then reduce your goals, right? Change them if they're too overwhelming, or if you find that it's too easy and you're not making fast enough progress, then increase your goals. But that's something that you really have to have, is some kind of system in place where you're keeping track of your goals, daily habits, things like that, so that you don't just rely on how you're feeling in the moment. And you'll be able to see this video. It'll be up in a year, at the end of the year. My goal is by the end of 2022. It's not like starting this date next year. To make $1 million by the end of the year, I will show receipts as to how I did. I will show how much I ended up making, and whether or not I achieved this. And even if I don't, but I make 700K or something, I'll be pissed off that I didn't make the million, but also I'll be proud of myself because only 4 years ago, I was completely broke. I only made $5,000 that year. And just by having the mentality that I could be extremely successful, that I have that, and not letting anyone else determine whether that's possible, making that decision for myself that I believe that, and then just being consistent has got me from poor to wealthy. But now I want to go from wealthy to rich. And that's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to increase my output. I'm going to sacrifice a lot of my comfort, watch a lot less Netflix. I don't play that many video games anymore, but I might play like half an hour here and there. I'm probably going to give that up. I don't need 4 hours, 5 hours of relaxation per day, right? It's really not necessary, and that's what I've been doing. And I'm going to give up things that are holding me back, giving up drinking. I haven't completely quit drinking, but I would say I've reduced my drinking by like 80-90% in the last month, which has given me more energy and stopped me from having hangovers, and it's helped me make a lot of progress as well. So I'm looking at what's holding me back, and am I willing to give that up? And the answer is yes. It'll make me uncomfortable in the short term, but I will be living a life in which I'm far more, I'm following my purpose, and I have this sense that I'm constantly leveling up, and I'm willing to give up the comfort that comes from How I Met Your Mother reruns to achieve that. I am willing to do that. I've made that decision that yes, I will deal with some stress making these videos. I'll deal with some stress with the amount of output that is required. But in the long term, I know that that's what makes you happy. What makes you depressed is being in this state of inertia where you're passive and the world, it feels like you're being done unto by the world, right? You're being screwed by the world, to put it in YouTube-friendly terms, right? When you're happy is when you are the one penetrating the world. You're the one screwing the world. You're doing more. It's output versus input. You're at the cause, not the effect. And most people, because modern society is designed to make us be at the effect, right? To make us constantly be in our heads, overthinking, thinking about the past, the future, watching TV, watching YouTube, playing video games, these kinds of things, and not putting out enough. Really, it should be like 80% output and 20% input, But what most of us do is the opposite. And I have found through experience, I've reflected that the times when I'm most unhappy are the times when I have the most freedom to just waste time, right? Times when I'm just allowing myself to play video games all day and watch tons of TV. There was a time when I made quite a bit of money in one day, and I was like, I could just not work for months and I'd be fine. This was last year. And for about a month, I became very lazy and very unproductive. And in that time, I became much less happy. Funny enough, when I was actually working like multiple hours per day on my product, on building my channel, and doing a lot, then at the end of the day, I felt proud of myself. I felt this sense of momentum. I felt like I was in alignment with who I wanted to be. So my self-esteem was increasing. And then even though at first hard work was stressful, the more I did it, the more I got momentum and actually started to enjoy it, started to look forward to it. Like right now, these last 10 minutes or so, I've been completely comfortable talking to the camera. I've been feeling good doing it. I'm having fun now. At first, I didn't want to do it. I was like, I hate live streams. Like they make me nervous. It's uncomfortable. And sometimes I don't want to do it. But if I do it and then you follow through, eventually it actually becomes enjoyable. Anything that is stress causing because it has potential for you, right? Something causes stress because you believe you could gain something from it, because there's pressure, right? If you approach that hot girl, you might end up in a relationship. There's something to gain and something to lose. And that pressure at first is stressful. It's uncomfortable. But over time, that pressure actually becomes excitement. It becomes like an adrenaline rush the more you lean into it. And that is the key to success in any goal, is learning to lean into that particular feeling in all areas of life. A very simple way you could do this: take cold showers every day. This is something I've been doing thanks to the advice of Kevin Ray Walder for a challenge I did with him. And I've been taking cold showers every day, and it helps you get used to leaning into that discomfort, because the cold water at first, I put it as cold as it goes, it's uncomfortable. You're like, fuck, why am I doing this? Why am I intentionally putting myself into discomfort? But now when I do it, I don't even hesitate anymore. Now I almost look forward to it. I'm starting to enjoy it. I'm starting to feel this sense of progress, and your ability to almost self-delude yourself into programming your mind that stress, that discomfort is a good thing because you know it's moving you towards your goals. You know it's leading you to get results most people couldn't imagine getting. That is what will lead you to be successful. That is the underlying mentality that you need to be successful. So, with all that said, I think that wraps up this video. 27 minutes. I'm supposed to go out and meet a friend. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to be posting a lot more on this channel. I expect it to grow slower than the main channel, but over time, I do want to do things that are on a larger scale than just how to pick up women and dating and relationships. I think that stuff is very important, and not enough people are willing to talk about it, which is why I do. But I also, I want to do things that are important on a grander scale, basically. Things that are, because life is about more than just getting laid. And pickup is about more than just getting laid. But I think, like in terms of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, eventually you want to reach self-actualization. That's the final level, if you will. That's like Super Saiyan, or the Super Saiyan Blue, I guess. The way you get there is by doing things that are not just for you. And on some level, pickup is about you. It does help you level up. It does help you overcome your negative beliefs, your ego, and things like that. But it is for you, right? You're not doing it really to make the world a better place. You might improve the lives of the girls you meet, and that's great if that happens. But ultimately, it's something that has a goal that is somewhat hedonistic, or at the very least, there is something you're getting out of it. Right? You're doing it because you want to get laid, you want to have fun, you want to have an adventurous life. It's not about offering value in the truest sense of the word. There's always something reciprocal that you're expecting to get out of it. And that is the limitation of pickup, and something where it's more about spiritual growth, which I'm I'd say agnostic. I'm not a huge believer in all that woo-woo stuff, but I think a lot of the spiritual concepts and things like Buddhism, Zen, Taoism, like a lot of those things are very profound and very powerful. And when it comes to living a happy life, you can live a happy life without getting laid at all. You can make the world a better place without getting laid at all. There's monks who take abstinence, right, and actually do that. And a lot of them are more satisfied and enjoy their lives, people like that, than people who do get laid all the time and have a hedonistic lifestyle. So while I think it is important to overcome your approach anxiety, your fears of rejection, etc., and that is a part of leveling up as a human being, I also think that there's more to it than that, right? There's a bigger picture about what it means to what I can offer the world myself, right? What I can do for the world. I think it's more in terms of psychology and philosophy. I think I can do something along those lines that is broader and ultimately more important for people's well-being. Because yes, if you have a scarcity in terms of dating and sex, that is something that is going to hold back your ability to enjoy life. It's going to cause problems unless you're doing it consciously and intentionally. It is a human need that we all share, and I want to help people have fulfilling, healthy, exciting relationships, or even just one-night stands. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I'm going to post more on this channel because I also believe that that isn't everything. That isn't the most important thing. So I'm going to be posting on this channel a lot more. Let me know in the comments if you have any topics that you want me to cover. My expertise, by the way, I have a degree in psychology. I know I've read hundreds of books about psychology, so that would be an area where anything in the realm of psychology, I have an expertise. Philosophy, to a somewhat lesser degree. I mean, I don't have a philosophy degree, but I do have a lot of experience, and I've read tons of books about it. And also things like meditation. Those are all things that I can make videos about and make content about. I'm not going to make videos about how to lose weight until I'm shredded, right? I'm only going to talk about topics that I am confident that I'm in the top at least like 5% of the population in terms of my own results, because I know I'm a very good teacher. I've gotten people very good results from my other channel. I have tons of testimonials of changing people's lives, and I know I have the capability to change people's lives, but I'm not a master of every topic, right? I'm not a master of all topics. There's a lot of things that I need to get better results myself first before I teach them. But most things in the realm of psychology, the realm of philosophy, I would be happy to talk about on this channel. So if you enjoyed this video, found it useful at all, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a comment for engagement, share it with your friends if you think it might help them, especially if you have anyone who has ambitions to make more money. And I think hearing from someone that isn't like a multimillionaire already, but who is on that path and has gone from poverty to relatively wealthy and is now looking to get to the next level, I think that's a unique perspective that will be helpful for a lot of people. So if you can think of someone that might benefit from this, make sure to share the video to them.